I'm particularly proud to have the opportunity to represent the mayor and the city council and the people of Houston to welcome y'all, and particularly the ambassador. Ambassador Henry-Martin. I've done a little reading on her, and she is, I would call her a Renaissance woman. She is a very accomplished, multi-degreed woman from the Caribbean and also from the UK. She's an educator, she's a mother and a wife, and finally a distinguished public servant. So it's my great pleasure to honor her here today.
And I want to say just what a pleasure it is for me to be embraced by your warmth. And if I didn't know myself that perhaps it was me you were speaking about, I would have been a little confused. I have a habit of thinking of myself purely as Jacinth. And that is how I would like you to think of me.
Well, that's good no matter what. You know, I do kind of cabaret style, which the voice is not so important. I mean, it's important.
Right, but it's not the only thing that comes in.
That's right. It's kind of a learning experience.
So how long have you been
doing that all my life? I stopped for a while. You know, other I play a little bit, but I have a great, I take a voice lesson every week, and my pianist, she also sings, she can play any
Oh, Heavenly Father, Almighty God, we come approaching your throne of grace, asking the blessing over this very special event, honoring my friend, our friend, Her Excellency Jacinth Henry-Martin, Ambassador to the U.S. for St. Kitts-Nevis and representative to the OAS. We thank you, Lord, for the many gifts and talents that you have bestowed upon Her Excellency. And she has taken the advantage of all of them in the most excellent of ways. Lord, I wish to just remind us of the many accomplishments she has had. An excellent diplomat representing our country. Lord, she's a poet, dramatist, storyteller, songwriter, calypsonian, joker. If you have never had the opportunity, Lord, for the others to experience how witty she is, Lord, what a blessing that you can have all these things wrapped up in one package. Lord, I ask you to grant her grace, wisdom, understanding, and courage to do her job in a way that pleases you, Lord.
And at this time, I would like to ask Councilmember Oliver Pennington to come to the podium to give greetings on behalf of the Mayor of Houston and all of the other council members from the city.
Thank you. It is a great pleasure for me and for my wife Beverly to be here tonight. Y'all have certainly made me welcome. Everyone that I have spoken to personally has greeted me warmly, and I appreciate that. And I understand that there are a few who are not actually St. Kittsians or Nevians are here, Panamanians and others, and so I guess we fit fit into this group. I am the council member for District G, and this is the area you're in. I have the pleasure of representing the Galleria as well as the other areas on the west side of town. And it's a wonderful place, and exciting place, and a busy place, and we're glad to have you here. I'm particularly proud to have the opportunity to represent the mayor and the city council and the people of Houston to welcome y'all, and particularly the ambassador. Ambassador Henry-Martin. I've done a little reading on her, and she is, I would call her a Renaissance woman. She is a very accomplished, multi-degreed woman from the Caribbean and also from the UK. She's an educator, she's a mother and a wife, and finally a distinguished public servant. So it's my great pleasure to honor her here today. I would also like to say that honor each of you as well, because I know that you are great ambassadors for your homeland. I've done some reading about it. You have beautiful mountains. We have not been to your islands, but we have been to Jamaica and to Puerto Rico and also to the Mexican coast, and we know how pretty it is there. And of course you have industries, you have the banking industry and trade and various commodities, as well as I'm sure a burgeoning tourist industry, and so that you're all good ambassadors, just like the ambassador for your country. We have a small gift from the mayor, and Ambassador, if I could ask you to come forward. It is a crystal hat, cowboy hat. I'd like to say that we are proud of our heritage as a Western town and as an independent town, and I think a certain amount of that spirit continues on today, that we're out trying to do things, but we're also proud that we're a modern town, as those of you who live here certainly know, and I'm sure the ambassador knows. We have a great international port. We have the NASA Spacecraft Center, where people are controlled going to the moon and other places. We have the Texas Medical Center, and we have the worldwide home of the oil and gas industry. But what we also have, and what I found in my interviewing of people, is we have a wonderful community. The people who live here like living here. They may come from St. Kitts or Nevis, or they may come from Washington, or they may come from Paris. But when they come here, they like living here. There's something about being in Houston that makes people happy and make them feel a part of the commerce here and the personality of Houston. So we're very proud that each of y'all who've come from another land are here, and I hope you're experiencing the same type of thing. And if there's anything that we can do for you at City Hall, we're glad to try to do that as well. But congratulations to the ambassador, and thank her for coming to Houston, and thank you all for getting together tonight. Thank you.
Welcome to everyone here this evening. Very nice to see you all out, and thank you for coming and for supporting the St. Kitts-Nevis Association of Houston. When we asked the ambassador to come to Houston last year, we asked her to come and address us as a keynote speaker at our first Independence Dinner and Dance that we had in September. Unfortunately, she was already booked. In fact, she was double booked, possibly triple booked. So it was not in the stars for her to come to Houston. But she did promise us that she would come to Houston at another time. And here she is. And we are excited to have you. We are honored to have you. And I have met the ambassador once before, 20 years ago. I was at a distance. Today I had the pleasure of having lunch with her, and I was very close. And she is hilarious. You will see later on. That's all I have to tell you. Let me tell you a little bit about our organization, the St. Kitts-Nevis Association of Houston. We're a non-profit organization that started in 2008. And again, the two young ladies that started this organization and had the vision, both of them are here tonight, and that is Coretta Warner and Michelle Burt. Thank you, ladies. Our aim is to increase awareness about our twin federation to all of the people that we come in contact with. Our second aim is to strengthen and to support the people of our twin federation in any way that we can. You'll see throughout the evening on the screen that there are several things that we took care of last year. We sent 3 barrels to the children's home in St. Kitts-Nevis, and we also helped our police department by providing them with 2 specially outfitted bikes that they asked for, 2 mountain bikes, and all of that was due to the donations from our supporters and all of the people that's on our committee. We thank you all for your support and for everything that you guys do. Every time we call you, every time we email you to death, you all show up and you all support all of the things that we do.
I believe that women have to learn to take the bull by the horns and step up front and assume leadership positions publicly. We have to put ourselves in a position not just to help decisions to be made, but to make them ourselves. If we want outcomes to be achieved our way, we need to get in the position to get it done. If we are not there to lead from the front, we may be leading, but we will be doing it from the back, and that is not good enough. These are the words of a true sister of the soil, a woman who decided to lead from the front. In the Twin Island Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, in the picturesque town of Sandy Point, a star was born. Armed with a stellar primary and secondary education, she propelled herself to advanced studies where her love for modern languages and cultural management blossomed. In her 2011 interview with Carib Nation, she proudly described herself as a servant of the people. And despite her success, she has been able to keep her feet on the ground. As a Sandy Pointer, that is the woman that I know and have always looked up to. Her humility, no matter where her career took her, has always been evident. Distinguished guests, I am going to let you to read her bio, because if I go through her bio, we'll be here until next week. Tonight, she stands before us as the Federation's first female ambassador to the United States of America and serves in the dual role of permanent representative to the Organization of American States. Ladies and gentlemen, with Kittitian and Nevisian pride, please join me in welcoming the wife to Michael, the sister to Carleen, and the mother to Quinn, Yannick, and Vaughn, Her Excellency Jacinth Henry-Martin.
Thank you very much, Denise. Sandy Point, you know. Let me get the protocol out of the way first. Distinguished President of the St. Kitts-Nevis Association of Houston, Councilman Pennington and Mrs. Pennington, representatives of the city, executive membership, and the broader membership of the St. Kitts-Nevis Association of Houston, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, friends, and I'm not going to say former classmates, we're always classmates. And in particular, I want to point out Quincy and his lovely wife, Gloria, and Cleo and her dashing husband. And I want to say just what a pleasure it is for me to be embraced by your warmth. And if I didn't know myself that perhaps it was me you were speaking about, I would have been a little confused. I have a habit of thinking of myself purely as Jacinth. And that is how I would like you to think of me. I'm very comfortable in that role. What I do is something I'm very proud of in the service of my country in the United States of America. And I do serve as the ambassador to the United States of America and permanent representative to the OAS but I'm Jacinth, and I'm honored and pleased to be exactly that person amongst you here this evening. Thank you very much for your warm embrace. I regret that I could not have been here in September. And obviously, if I could have been in more than one place at a time, I would have been, but I did make the promise that I would be here. And I did promise that it would be during the first quarter of 2012, and I am so happy I was able to keep that promise. I do not like making promises that I can't keep. And so it is my absolute pleasure to be here. I'm going to try to give my address because I want to say certain things about the role and function of the Embassy of St. Kitts-Nevis with the United States of America. And I would really want to use this opportunity to encourage everyone here, even before I get into my address, to please, number one, always be proud of the fact that you are from St. Kitts and Nevis. And to remember at all times that you have the distinction of being from two islands, St. Kitts and Nevis. Very often when I was in London, and even here sometimes people would come to the embassy and they ask, where are you from? St. Kitts or Nevis? And my answer would be, I'm from St. Kitts and Nevis. And so that is something that we can boast about. And I definitely want to ask everyone to remember that. Especially, you should at all times remember it, but especially where we are in the United States of America. We want to speak about our country. And so at all times we have to remember that we are a twin island federation. I'm going to get into the meat of the address because I understand that there's dancing to be done, and I will not be getting in the way of that. It is my honor and delight to meet and greet fellow nationals in Houston and to bask in the opportunity to put faces to names and to allow you to do the same for me as the Ambassador of St. Kitts-Nevis to the United States of America. In both my personal and professional capacities, I'm always at home among my people wherever I am, when we gather in the spirit of unity in fostering a sense of togetherness, and when those of us who are of like minds reach within ourselves as a collective force for the good of our nation. I invite us all to see tonight's occasion as one such opportunity, a renewal of the national spirit here in Houston, and as far afield as this can be transmitted in the state of Texas and throughout the nation. While I'm certain that many of us are aware of the level of federal representation in the United States of America, I would wish for the benefit of all to provide an overview in brief of the role and function of the Federal Embassy to the United States, as well as to detail other roles performed by other federal bureaus in this jurisdiction. As a point of departure, this is potentially one of the worthwhile and very useful points of clarification for our nationals. There is only one embassy of St. Kitts and Nevis to the United States of America. Very often we hear people referring to the mission in New York as the embassy. There is one embassy of St. Kitts and Nevis to the United States of America, and it is based in the capital of this nation, Washington, D.C. The embassy to the United States doubles as its permanent mission to the Organization of American States, and the federal ambassador is also the permanent representative to the Organization of American States, the OAS, which is comprised of 34 member states. There is a highly efficient and very hard-working team at the Embassy and Permanent Mission, and I very much regret that resources did not permit them all to accompany me. In their absence, though, I'm delighted to introduce them. The first secretary and alternate permanent representative to the OAS, she's chargée d'affaires in my absence, it's Kimoy Libert Chow, originally from Bastille. The senior administrative and consular attaché is Verlin Claxton Maynard, originally from Nevis. Verona Green is the administrative officer, and she is originally from St. Paul's, St. Kitts. Gerald Aranza is the assistant administrative officer and driver, and he insists that he's from St. Paul's. He's actually from the Philippines. but you cannot tell him that. And Gerald has mastered Kittish-Nevis dialect. So, if you, in fact, I was speaking with Melvina, and she said, he's from the Philippines? I said, no, he's from St. Kitts. That's just how Jay says it. He has been there for over 10 years, and trust me, Jay is from St. Kitts. Also on the premises and part of the embassy team is Abdullah Skerrit. He is the Director of E-Business at the DC office of the St. Kitts Tourism Authority, and he handles our media, promotional, and IT projects. Another classmate. The overarching function of the Embassy of St. Kitts and Nevis and of its permanent mission to the OAS is the representation of the interests of the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis in the USA and within the parameters of the OAS at all levels. You're all aware that the consular interests of nationals are addressed in several contexts at the embassy. It is also the embassy's role to interact with the federal government of the USA in terms of petitions and divisions in this jurisdiction. The consular service with which many would be most familiar is, of course, the processing of passports. We also have emergency travel documents when passports are lost, and we deal with a range of issues from the very positive right down to issues of deportation and other negative issues that we treat as the routine part of the work carried out at the embassy. Service to and interaction with nationals, US government, state, corporate, tourism, civic, educational, CARICOM, and other interests are a daily part of the embassy's routine. Through its US Embassy, St. Kitts and Nevis is also a member of the CARICOM Caucus of Ambassadors, which I chaired from July to December of 2011. Being in the nation's capital affords the Federation a unique opportunity to network at the highest levels to create awareness of our country, its potential, its possibilities, and its problems. We are here because we must be positioned to broker agreements which favor our development and our security and our survival as a small developing state with interests, sovereign and voting rights which translate into bargaining power and our potential. I want to speak about this very briefly because many times we get the question, why would a small country such as St. Kitts and Nevis want to spend the money to have an embassy in the United States of America? We are here to seek and to offer support in the defining of bilateral and or multilateral agreements. We are here to strengthen the socio-economic base of our federation and our region, and to support our allies and those who support us. We are here to negotiate towards the advancement and protection of our state and our people, and because we have wisely decided that it is better to pay now a small price for defending our positions as small yet proactively vocal states than to pay later for cowering silently in our corner of the world. We are here because this is where all countries which take themselves seriously need to be when there is debate and discussion of the global issues which affect all of us as sovereign nations. We may be small in size, but we have an equal say in the discourse, and our voice must and will be heard. Representation at this level is the small price that affords us the volume we need to be heard by the ears that need to hear us in the capital city of the most powerful nation on earth. That is why we're here. The Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis also benefits from the contribution to its international representation through offices in New York, where its permanent mission to the United Nations is located, along with the Tourism Office. A small consular office also facilitates the processing of passport applications for nationals in the state of New York and its environs. The federal ambassador and permanent representative to the United Nations is His Excellency Delano Bat. And you may remember the name, he's is the former Attorney General. Today's coming together is more than an occasion to meet you. If I am to be frank, I want to make this a call for nationals to be energized to action. I have kept my ear to the ground, done a little homework in preparing to address you, and want to make the most of this opportunity. I want you to accept that having responded to the invitation to be present, you, number one, acknowledge your Kittish-Nevisan roots, and I hope find some pride in the fact that, two, you have some interest in moving forward based on this acknowledgement. And three, that tonight you acknowledge is as good a starting point as any. As ambassador, I want to issue a call to vibrancy. I commend the executive and membership of the St.Kitts-Nevis Association of Houston for their energy in flying the federal flag with pride in your adopted city and state. The embassy wishes to collaborate, to be part of an inclusive and embracing team which serves as a catalyst for positivity amongst nationals in the U.S. diaspora. As ambassador, I invite you and your national association to keep us abreast of all planned activities, form linkages with other national associations in other states, and keep them abreast as well, so that the family is always connected. I look forward to participating as possible and to the interaction which such opportunities afford for myself and for the entire staff at the embassy. The embassy is not an agency for creating or managing or controlling national associations. It is itself a working arm of the process of nation building and cementing of ties along with national associations, a channel for inspiring and promoting the passions required to make Kittians and Nevisans stronger and more empowered in the United States of America. National associations require energy, togetherness, unity of purpose, ideas that are based on mutual respect and which can be pooled for greater productivity, consistency of effort, interest, and interaction. And mostly, national associations need, after all that fire in the belly, an appreciation of the truth that it is possible to work together and to disagree respectfully on issues that, when all is said and done, are smaller than our great love for our country. Put aside the differences, come together and work for St. Kitts and Nevis. The embassy is revamping our US database nationwide, and we need the help of everyone present here and even those who are absent. Spread the word, and please do not leave this evening without checking that we have all of your details. An address, an email, a telephone number. We have set up a computer where you can simply establish an account, enter your details, and help us to serve you. The embassy is advancing purposefully into the electronic age, and our brand new website will allow for online registration to the database. And for future amendments, if any aspect of your registration details change, you establish an account, such as you would do, say, online for Macy's or JCPenney. If you move, you don't have to contact us. You simply go on, you log onto your account, you change the details. We're with you, you're with us. We're all in this thing together. The embassy will also, within the next couple of weeks, launch a Facebook account, Embassy of St. Kitts and Nevis, USA, and we hope you will join us online as fans. We especially want to reach out to students who are studying in Texas and throughout the USA. Many of you here have family members who are studying outside of the state of Texas. Please let them know. I don't think many of us realize, perhaps until often it's too late, the importance of having a connection with your embassy. If something happens and we need to be able to reach a member of your family on your behalf, or if God forbid we need to intercede somehow with some agency within the government of the United States of America, we want to know. It is useful to us to have your information, and we will not share the details you have provided with us. They will be the database of the Embassy of St. Kitts and Nevis to the US. That's where it will reside, information you share. Please help us to spread the word. You will receive additional details on this score via an email blast. But of course, to do that, we need your email details, since we will be using electronic means in the future, although not exclusively, to keep nationals updated. All that's left for me to do is to reiterate my honor to serve among you. As the Federation's ambassador to the USA, I look forward to continuing in the labor of building our country and in delivering a service of which our nation can be truly proud. Thank you for your respectful attention. The Embassy is pleased to be the proud sponsor of tonight's reception. I consider this an investment in the power of togetherness, cementing the promise underscored by unity of purpose. On behalf of the entire staff, I thank you for the warmth of your embrace and for your presence. And I definitely want to applaud the hard work of the President, Mrs. Melvina Chapman-O'Dane, and the executive and membership of the Houston Association leading to tonight's event. I'm definitely looking forward to mixing and mingling, and I hope that there is some dancing in my future. God bless you all. God bless the Federation of St. Kitts-Nevis. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Kadeen. I'm the president of Empress Promotions, and you're watching CAHFT TV.
I can only say that personally, we have to move beyond saying that we want to come together. And the reason why I am here is to demonstrate in an active way that I want to be part and parcel of the process. And what I can say to you is, if we all take that stand, coming together is going to become a reality rather than a vision. We have to start in small circles. We have to start here in Houston, but before we can start in Houston, we have to start in this room. And then we have to walk our way out in concentric circles until we have achieved the whole.
I am so happy to be here with the first ambassador to the United States from my tiny island nation of St. Kitts-Nevis. You know, and after being in America for 33 years, I want to go home. I want to go home. I never thought 20 years ago I'd be saying that, but I want to go home. So my question to you is, if I stay here in America and apply for land in St. Kitts, would I get my land if I pay for it? Or would you tell me I stay away too long?
I can answer you as Jacinth, and I can answer you as the ambassador, and I can say to you that there is an application process to which all Kittitians and Nevisians are entitled in terms of making, first of all, completing an application process, because I can tell you that in my past life, I would have people who would say, I want a piece of land, what are you doing? But, and it's like, did you send in the application form? No! I think there's a number 1, which is immediately followed by a number 2. Once you would have applied, I would say to you, if you do not get a response, then you need to follow up. And I don't know about you. I am persistent in my personal and professional life to the point where I don't think Councilman Pennington would be familiar with this verb. There's a verb in our dialect called to heg, and it means to bother. Well, when I needed things done, I would call after I would have called a couple of times, and I would introduce myself like this. This is Jacinth the Heg. And so I would suggest to you, if you would have completed number 1 on the list of things to do, and number 2 you have sent it in, that you be very persistent. And you know, some of us, I believe, tell ourselves, well, I don't need to ask more than once. That's maybe your view. My view is, when I want something, whoever I need to hang will get hanged until I get it. And I have found very often, and I mean, I don't know if this is the diplomatic response, but I'm telling you, this is Jacinth speaking, not necessarily the ambassador. Very often, I just wear down whoever has something to give me. Let me just get this woman off my back. So I would say to you, if you have made the application process, write to the agency and follow up, detailing how many times you have called and demanding an answer. We have to take ownership of processes when we want results.
Deeply connected with St.Kitts-Nevis. Nobody can sit there and tell me, you're American, you're not Caribbean. No, I am petitioned, okay? So get it right. But I want to know, as a young adult, how can I stay more connected with my country? It's kind of hard being here in America and, you know, trying to stay connected in some kind of way. What would you suggest?
Well, you have raised an important question, which is something that I want to address. The Constitution of St. Kitts-Nevis entitles everyone born to a parent or a grandparent from St. Kitts-Nevis entitlement to citizenship. I say entitlement because you don't have to take it up. But I would suggest to you, with so many others rushing to avail themselves of citizenship in St. Kitts-Nevis, you may very well want to seize upon the opportunity of citizenship. If you are born in the United States of America, you don't have to give up your U.S. citizenship to claim your St. Kitts-Nevis citizenship. And so we very often try to encourage nationals, entitled nationals like yourselves, to avail. Let me tell you something. If you try to buy property in St. Kitts now without St. Kitts-Nevis citizenship, then you pay the foreign taxes that accrue to non-nationals. Simply by moving on your citizenship, you avoid all of the taxes that a non-national would have. How can you remain in touch with your Kitts-Nevis roots? I would say, as I would say to everyone here, visit St. Kitts-Nevis. Connect with St. Kitts-Nevis. Promote St. Kitts-Nevis. Immerse yourselves in the culture of St. Kitts-Nevis. Speak about St. Kitts-Nevis. Go on the internet and go on the St. Kitts webpage and the Nevis webpage, because there are two separate tourism authorities. But don't let anybody know more about St. Kitts-Nevis than you. When they say we've been to the best restaurant, you say, been there, done that. When they say they had coconut dumpling, you say, oh, I can make a few for you. You have to, no one can do it for you. That's the point I want to make. You have to be so interested in preserving what is inherently yours that you make it a part of your strategy, that whatever you do will be Kittitionized and Nevisionized. And so when you speak with your friends at school or at work, tell them about St. Kitts-Nevis. This underscores what I was saying. Thank you very much. A Foreign Nurse's Guide to America, Shirley Lorraine Franks, RN, BS, MBA, and she forgot, from St. Kitts-Nevis.
No, I did not. I have the...
Kind of should have been on the cover, but you take it wherever you put it.
Okay. It's on the back cover. And then the St. Kitts flag is in my book as well.
Very proud of that. And this underscores what I was saying, that, no, Ms. Franks is someone, to me, who, as an individual, having done her initial studies in St. Kitts-Nevis, knows what it took to get to where she is now, inside and out. And her book basically affords others who may aspire to this to, when you're small, you got to weed out the little job cane there before you, to clear the way so that someone else may not have to go through those hassles. So I'm really proud and appreciative that you took the time, because, I mean, she could have written, a story, but it's a guide. Very useful.
Now I want to just take the time to just personally thank you for not only just being able to keep your commitment to coming here, but for inspiring us to reconnect to our country, and to, even though we're in Texas and we're trying to make this life for ourselves and our family, to always remember where we're from and be proud of being Kittitions and Divisions. So thank you for coming here. St.Kitts-Nevis Association of Houston. We hope you hang this in your office, and every time you see it, you remember your trip to Houston and this great speech that you gave and this inspiration that you gave to this group today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I mean, Cleo has been by me, so Cleo has to know how much I value this. I'm not so sure this is going to go to the office. Wow. Everyone who knows me must be aware how grounded I am in my Afro-Caribbean roots. And so everything that has been given to me is tremendously special. Wherever they are, they'll be appreciated. If you don't see it in the office, it's somewhere safe. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Hi, do Houston. This is DJ Geraldo, and you're watching CAHFT TV, #1.
Good evening, everyone. Today's show is a very special show. We are in the heart of Houston with Your Excellency, the Ambassador of St.Kitts-Nevis, Ms. Jacinth Henry-Martin. It is an honor to be here with you tonight, and I'm so excited to be sharing so many moments so important of the Caribbean heritage. So here with me I have Dennis Warner, and we'll be just talking and try to get to know you a little bit more, to have the pleasure of speaking with you, as well as getting to know what are some of the things that make us Caribbean and how can we continue to embrace our culture. Dennis.
Well, good evening.
Good evening to you, Dennis.
We are another segment of this wonderful night. It's indeed more than just a privilege, as I said earlier. It's been a long time coming, and I'm glad to be in company with you tonight.
My absolute pleasure to be here.
Thanks. Of course, we always have problems, and we always have questions, and we always look forward to someone who sometimes would want to help us with our problems. Well, tonight we're gonna put those problems on you tonight. I'm sure you will find some way of helping us in some little way.
I'll do my best.
We're gonna start with some questions. As a culturally minded person, and I am too, and I've been here in Houston for a while, in Texas for a while, and it's only now, especially for us as Kittitians here now, it's only recently that I'm start feeling the consciousness of our culture here in Houston. And you being here, even gonna make it a little more conscious to us. We are looking ways how to excite our people here in Houston, how to bring out that consciousness, how to make them proud of where they come from. How could we go about doing that? I'm sure you may be able to enlighten us in some way.
I believe as Caribbean nationals, and certainly as Kittitians and Nevisians, we bring with us certain inherent traditions that first of all we have to determine as a people we want to keep alive. Let us hold fast to that which is instinctively ours. For example, one common tradition that is weekly is for us after church to eat saltfish, Johnny cakes, and to sit around the breakfast table, I mean, after breakfast, because usually it's more brunch, and to speak about what the week was, to plan for the next week. Let us hold fast to that tradition. It's an opportunity for us not only to eat delicious, traditional food, but for us to get the family or to get the broader circle of friends and relatives to come together. That is also an opportunity for us to strategize on how to get those outside of the family unit together. For example, I saw the masquerade dance being performed here this evening. Perhaps as Kittitians and divisions, we can get a broader circle of us together to keep the masquerade tradition alive, which incidentally is also performed in the Dominican Republic, and I think it's commonly referred to as La Golaya. Golaya. Right. Which and we have something in common with the people of the Dominican Republic. In San Pedro de Macorís and La Romana, a lot of persons from St.Kitts-Nevis in the 1940s and the 1950s went to the Dominican Republic to work in the sugar industry. What can we do to strengthen our traditions here in Houston? Let us keep the spirit of unity and togetherness alive. Many of us have skills that others don't have. My strengths I share with those who don't have it. Those who have strengths in other areas share with me. In that way, we keep all of the strengths and all of the traditions alive. And I believe the answer to your question is to keep the spirit of togetherness alive and unbroken, even here in our adopted home.
And that is correct. And I'm glad you brought the idea of St.Kitts-Nevis having something in common with the Dominican Republic, because it's not only two countries having something in relation, it's the whole Caribbean. You know, things we have that particular charismatic part of our culture that we both of our countries share, like the music, the food, and all of that, it was what keeps us united. And you mentioned, as you were speaking earlier, and something that caught my attention is the fact that in order for us to do something, to be recognized and to continue to create that consciousness, we have to stay united. We have to come to these functions, we have to support each other, and that's a very good way of us continue to show here in the United States
Definitely.
that we are here and that we are united.
We have an individual responsibility to do that. I believe very often we look outside of ourselves and we wonder, what is everybody else doing to make something happen? And the point that I was trying to make was that individually, the effort will be strengthened if each of us play our role. The collective job will get done if the individual effort contributes to the overall success. And that's the point I want to make, not just with regard to any project, but specifically with regard to keeping our Kittitian and Division spirit, our Caribbean spirit alive. As Caribbean people, we're a warm and embracing people. We have to move beyond our individual spheres and make it happen by embracing all of our Caribbean friends and neighbors.
One of the things that that's very evident, not just here in Houston, but even in New York and other places that do have petition groups, is that there's always a political agenda, something that I should say compromises one effort in I should say getting involved.
That's right.
I often pray about that, because until we get over that political divide, until we get over that kind of stuff, and we become conscious that regardless of what political side we take, we are a people and should be conscious more of individual responsibility,
right,
and doing something from an individual standpoint to promote our country rather than that political bashing, right, and those kind of stuff. So my question to you is, and how we go about doing that? I might have a way of doing it in your expertise. What would
well, the point I made tonight was that why are we zoning in on one thing that has the potential to divide when everything else has the potential to bring us together? It's as if with all of the choices that we have, why we should unite, we chose the one thing that should divide. And my response to this is to ask, it comes back to the individual, each person to consider what makes us one people. And it is the fact that we are from the Federation of St.Kitts-Nevis. That is the most important thing that should be bringing us together. And I said tonight that it is greater than any other thing that we can mention. That is the central ethos of who we are as a people in the United States of America. The one thing that unites us. We are a people from the same country. Everything else is secondary. Everything else is minor. Everything else comes after that fact. Why not concentrate on the positive? That's the way I've seen it. Why not work together for the greater good? Any reason that can be given why that is not possible, to me, is defeatist and works contrary to the greater good that we can do collaboratively.
That is exactly correct. And there's one thing that I wanted to bring about. It's very important in order for us to bring the consciousness of our culture and to continue to expose others of everything that happens back in our island. And the effort that we have coming to this country is education. As a young professional woman here, I came 11 years ago, and I went to college, got my bachelor's degree, and working on my master's right now. And I'm always trying to figure out, you can get some assistance from here, from the United States government, but as the, let's say, the ambassador of St.Kitts-Nevis, are there any assistance or, let's say, help that the embassy can provide for those that are seeking higher education here in the United States?
Right. The embassy, the efforts provided by the embassy and permanent mission revolve primarily around the OAS. The OAS, the Organization of American States, allows for scholarship opportunities for all students from the member states of the Organization of American States. The scholarships are announced in our member states, so all of the students from St. Kitts-Nevis are usually aware through the permanent mission and the OAS office in St. Kitts what the scholarships are. There is a process of applying for the scholarships, and then there is a selection process, and eventually the student is able to pursue course of studies, bachelor's and master's degrees. Other than that, we are not an agency that creates scholarships, but I would say that many of the national associations who have sought collaboration from the embassy in terms of support for their fundraising efforts, many of the national associations have raised funds to give scholarship opportunities of one kind or another to students from the Federation who are based in the US. We also stand ready, I have to say, through the database to avail ourselves of information of all of the students. It may not be in terms of financial resources, but there are other forms of assistance that can be loaned to students who are coming, they have no family here, they want to be put in touch with nationals. The embassy has a database, and if they seek our assistance and they let us know what the challenges are, I'm sure that members of staff, and I can say personally myself as ambassador, we want to reach out to our students in the United States and to ensure that they're facilitated by having us meet their needs as far as we can.
Mr. Ambassador, it's a pleasure having you here tonight.
Pleasure is mine.
It's a dream come true for us.
It is.
We're looking forward to see you here again. Don't let it be that long.
All righty.
Okay.
I'll work on it.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for being here with us. It was a pleasure to be able to speak with you and learn so much. For me personally, being from the Dominican Republic, you have empowered me to continue and given me the strength that I know that I can continue doing what we're doing through CAHFT embracing our culture and bringing together everything and everybody. Thank you so much.
Yo quiero saludar un poquito a mi gente de la República Dominicana. Me gusta que yo he tenido la oportunidad de empoderarle a usted, y espero que nuestra gente de la región puede saber que ustedes tienen amigos y familiares en St.Kitts-Nevis y ustedes pueden contar en nuestro respaldo y apoyo.
Perfecto, muchísimas gracias, ha sido un placer compartir con usted, conocerla y que me dé la oportunidad de saber qué son esas cosas que como profesional, mujer profesional caribeña aquí en los Estados Unidos puedo hacer para seguir trayendo nuestra cultura y que la gente continúe conociendo de que estamos aquí y que podemos hacer la diferencia.
Cuando todo esté dicho y hecho, somos un pueblo caribeño, así es.
Así es, muchísimas gracias.
Buenas noches.